Hey, everybody, welcome to our Echoes in Exile podcast. This is for Path of Exile 3.27. I am Barricade, and joined with me is Spooker HD. And him and I have been both enjoying the new Path of Exile 1 League. We're losing sleep to it, and unfortunately, the other cast members are just not playing it. So him and I are going to be carrying the torch on this one, and we're happy to do so. So kicking things off, I want to talk about a few things, which are, in my opinion, the primary three. I would be the Genesis tree, Asynchronous Trade, and the new breach system that we get with 3.27. But before I kind of get into the weeds here, Spooker, what are you thinking? What are the key points you want to talk about in the podcast, and how you feeling about the whole thing?
Well, for starters, I'm just going to go ahead and kind of go over what I did start with and my idea behind that process. So we got the reveal, the big reveal. It was exciting. We were like, yes, all right, awesome. You know, so many good things that they brought during that reveal. So the first thing I saw was a new dexterity skill gem, which is very similar to a skill gem, actually a combination of skill gems in Path of Exile 2, which if you're not playing Path of Exile 2, you should be. Or 1, you should give it a try. With that being said, though, this skill was called Thunderstorm. They added it in to PoE 1 this league. It's a brand new skill gem. It's very similar to the Whirling Slash, and Tornado or Twister. Twister?
Tornado.
I think it's Twist.
Tornado, big tornadoes. Yeah, big tornado that goes, I think. I haven't played it. You have.
Twisters. It's Whirling Slash and Twisters. Twisters are the big, the shotgun. Yeah. So this skill is basically a combination of both of those. So when you shoot Thunderstorm, it puts down the little circle. Now, instead of casting out of it, when you step into it, it has 4 stages. It procs one stage every 0.25 seconds, and it dissipates at 1.5 seconds. So the goal is to stand in that circle for 1 second to 1.49 seconds and get out of it. That way you proc the skill Thunderburst from Thunderstorm. And that will proc so many tornadoes.
So just even in describing that, it sounds kind of procedural. Like, do you feel like that's definitely going to dictate the way you play? But do you feel like it's become an encumbrance in the build, or do you feel like it's been just like natural, you get used to it?
It's one of those, like, if you ever did a Rain of Arrows build or a Toxic Rain build, it's very similar. It doesn't feel much different. The only difference is that you are paying attention, because you can only have 3 thunderstorms on the ground at one given time. So you basically pinpoint where you're casting them, and depending upon what you're doing, if you get too much movement speed and you're trying to just blast through, you'll go through the thing before it even procs a stage, so you get no twisters. I haven't ran into that yet, but that's, casual player here.
Okay, or a guy that's actually using the mechanic. It's fine. I was just curious, because it sounds like I thought it was something that was on you on casting, because you said it was like Path of Exile 2, and when you liken it to Path of Exile 2, I'm thinking like spear skill, right? It's central to the character, but it's a position thing. You put it wherever you want.
Correct. You drop it down.
That changes everything.
It lasts for so long. You step in it up to 4 stages. At the max stages, it will dissipate. It does extra damage, explosion, and dissipates into the tornadoes. So my most difficult issue, and I learned this recently, I've switched from that skill right now because I need more gear to push it beyond. It struggles on the boss damage. But
interesting. Okay.
It struggles on the boss damage because I wasn't utilizing the Thunderstorm damage of the skill. I was just relying on the Thunderburst damage of the skill, which the Thunderburst is just the dispersion of the twisters, which is great for clear. Absolutely great. Twisters are everywhere, just like in PoE 2. They're everywhere. They clear everything dies. Occasionally you'll run into a rare that lasts a little bit longer, and then you realize that it has that damn globe above its head because you got to be near it.
Got it. Okay. So that's what you weren't doing. You weren't doing that second part.
No, I was doing the second part. It was the first part, because when you cast Thunderstorm, it does damage upon landing, just like Toxic Rain.
Initial hit.
So so it's an initial hit, and then when it dispersed, when you maximum stages, it explodes and disperses for 300% more damage. So that's a lot of damage. Okay. And once I learned that, being evasion, you're obviously most evasion builds are squishy. You're either alive or dead. Yeah. There's no in between. So that's one of my issues with the skill gem for my skill, because I went Ranger Deadeye. But I recently switched to a, what is it, Transfigured Gem, what is it, Elemental Hit of the Spectrum, I think is the name of it.
Okay, yeah, that's a big build, yeah.
Yeah, and so I've been using that. It's because of evasion, it keeps the monsters away from me as opposed to having to be right on top of them for extra damage on bosses. So
mine isn't nearly as sexy. So if I've been playing a lot of Righteous Fire Chieftain. Again, my go-to modus operandi is I want to choose something that we could do a play-along community build. And so for me, it's Righteous Fire Chieftain. If you're somebody who's never played Path of Exile 1, here's the spiel, right? I think it's one of the most comfortable builds at level 16. All you have to do is get a bunch of life, fire resistance, and then you just play it. It's a circle of fire around you. You kill things. It's very easy to play. And that allows somebody who's never played Path of Exile 1 to like get used to acts, monsters, loot on the ground, things like that, and not really be worried about the overwhelming sensation that Path of Exile games typically have, because a Righteous Fire build doesn't necessarily care because it can AFK in very difficult content. So that's what I'm doing. And for me, I'm just personally, I'm pushing it with respect to like investment to see what it can do still in this league. And so far, it's walking through the game again. So I haven't had to switch a skill. It's been fine. And that's been me so far. So I've just to share, like Spooker's doing some new sexy stuff. He's going to find walls. I'm not really encountering those, which is nice. So that's kind of like the difference here. How come you didn't go RF? What made you want to try the new skill?
So I'm always about new things, whether it's coming to gaming or games in general or a particular game. So very rarely will you ever see me run the same build in a new league. It's always something new, and that's one thing that I love about Path of Exile 1 is playing it. I haven't played it like every league since it launched back in 2012. 2013 on console, but I was playing off and on, and there's always something new you can do. Even when you play multiple builds in one league, there's still always something new.
Oh, there always is, yeah. And it's like, for me, you talk about doing something new, and this is why I play these games over and over. And the cyclical process I'm always going to love, it's the league start. And so with 3.27 coming out, Keepers of the Flame, brand new league start, I have nothing. I have to build up my wealth again. Like, it's such an exciting thing when you have to figure out what the next upgrade is. I think that's one of the most interesting things about the genre. And so with new things being added to the game, let's talk about the one that already existed for our listeners there and maybe some of our viewers here on the YouTube feed here. So Asynchronous Trade was something that we appreciated in Path of Exile 2, and it really changed the way you played the game. The hideout is lava to some degree. You don't got to spend so much time waiting for the responsive trade. It was all just there. Now that that's here in Path of Exile 1, I'll let you take the torch on this one if you've been using it. What are your thoughts? And then I'll kind of chime in at the end. What are your thoughts on Asynchronous Trade? Not so much in PoE 2, but more 1.
In 1. So in Path of Exile 1, I have two major things. One is a complaint about it. And
Sir, how dare you? No, go. Go. Yeah.
2 is a good thing, but can be a bad thing in some people's aspect. So the first one is asynchronous trade. It's great. We love it. It allows you to be able to get your items without relying on interaction with another player. However, the way they set it up, which I don't know why they did this in 1 and not 2, was the initial setup when you go to search for something on asynchronous trade is message and instant. Yes. And I don't know why they made that adjustment for 1 and not 2. Because in my opinion, I think they're trying to push us to the asynchronous trade, right? Which is fine. It's absolutely so much better. If you've ever played Path of Exile 1 before asynchronous trade and you don't like asynchronous trade, you're probably an RM tier. And I'm sorry, not sorry, get fucked. But either way,
I don't apologize to people that do that. I can't stand that either. I think I have a reason why, though. I'm going to interject. I believe it's because there's items in the trade economy that you cannot asynchronously trade. Like, the system wasn't ready for them yet. So you needed 2 mechanisms to immediately do it instantaneously, and then also you could message, because you couldn't do that.
Okay, yes, very valid point. Very valid point. Because I think, yeah, you're absolutely right. Because I think there is That's one of the ones. There was another one, but yeah, you're right. That does make sense. However, they've been known to just hold off on things, so I don't know that was the only reason. So
sure. But I'll take it in its current incarnation, wouldn't you?
2 thumbs up, 100%.
All right.
Now,
Okay.
the only other thing that I have to really say about it, and it's great, I love it. It's more of a you problem when it comes to the general statement. Everything is dirt cheap. Like, unless it's perfect, you can get almost any of your gear. Now, this is just your generalized gear. You obviously have some of the crafted gear that you have to craft, and those are going to be your higher market, and that's totally fine. But you can get to T16 maps. Obviously not in the first day or two, but you give it a few days, get through the campaign, take your time, do what you got to do. You can get to T16 maps on any character with any build for less than 20 Chaos Orbs. Easily. Doesn't matter what the class is, what the character is. You can easily do that. You could not do that before asynchronous trade.
Hold on. Yes, you could. It would just take. You're waiting for the trade. Like you wait for the trade. You'd ping to get the trade. You'd have to go trade for some gear instead of having to get it.
But what I'm saying is that the amount of gear that's out there, it's a race to the bottom now. So the price points are all much lower. Like, I went to go sell some gloves that had triple T1 attack with T2 attack speed on them.
That's crazy stuff. Yeah.
Normally they go for like a div to 5 div. They've sat for 1 div for 2 days now, and I'm like,
and they haven't sold.
There's nothing else on the market like it, and so they haven't sold.
So that's going to segue perfectly into step 2, which is going to be the Genesis tree conversation, which could also be a hidden reason why your stuff's so cheap.
That's true too. Yeah.
I want to chime in on the asynchronous trade thing. So if you've not used this because for some reason life's been passing you by, you don't like Path of Exile 2, and you haven't played 3.27, so you're familiar with the trade system existing in a way that you would have to stop what you're doing, go on the website, find what you want, put in the correct filters, connect with somebody that's got a price point you agree with, message them, wait for them to invite you to the party, get out of their map, not kick you, then go to their their stash, open the thing up, find the thing for you that was highlighted, and then you'd wait, they open up trade, you check the item to make sure you're not getting scammed, they put it in, you put in the currency, and then you get the sale. That's how we did it forever. Now you can just put your stuff up in a merchant's tab, go play your video game, and you check to see if it's sold. That's all you have to do, which is excellent. And so in its incarnation, I would say, and I think we've said it, I agree, it's great, and I'm so glad that it's here. It's made, for me, what it's done for me, asynchronous trade has vastly increased my output in the video game like tenfold. I can be somewhere else getting that upgrade at the same time because I'm getting currency. And I got to tell you, that's a breath of fresh air. It's a life-changing experience. Any ARPG that doesn't have asynchronous trade is going to feel like dust with legs, man. It can't even keep up because it's so nice. Like other video games, you have to trade with people, and it just slows you down. And I miss trading with people because you would see their name, right? Like whatever, Paul Sminas as a joke's name, right? Like it's whatever, right? You know what I mean? Like it's just that's part of the community of Path of Exile, these funny names, right? Like Chadwick von Lichtenberg or whatever, these stupid silly names. You just have them. And so I miss that, but I don't miss it more than having asynchronous trade. I think it's quite good. And so talking about the floor, about really good items coming out, is this Genesis tree. So the Genesis tree is the new league mechanic, and to empower it, you have to do it more. You have to feed the tree these womb gift, and then it would be a certain type, and then you would have these trees expel blood, graft blood, to fill the womb gift up, explode in this gory method, giving you whatever the result is. And unfortunately, for Spooker and others, the gifts are very, very good. Tier 2, Tier 1, like multifaceted, insane stuff that you'd have to know how to craft before to get. And the Genesis tree is literally changing the game for a lot of us and allowing people to get to deeper content because the modifiers is so good. And so I think that's part of the reason, because people just exploring the new league mechanic, that's part of the reason gear has gone down to the price of dog water, because the stats are just always so good for everybody. Now, what's your thoughts on the Genesis tree and like with that in relation to like, I guess, trade? Like, do you think that's the culprit?
I think it's part of the culprit, but if you go back to Path of Exile 2, where we didn't have that crazy mechanic, but I will argue at the same time, we did have a new crafting system implemented, so it could also be a similar culprit to the tree. But even in Path of Exile 2, it was also a race to the bottom. Things that you would never see for like less than a few exalts, you're seeing for one exalt or one smaller orb.
Yeah, and so I think the correlation there is that you have the omen structure, Path of Exile 2, homogenizing exaltation and the like, that are just creating insane gear. And that is the Genesis tree in Path of Exile 1. And you know what's crazy is Path of Exile 2, you go to the Abyss area. Path of Exile 1, you go to Keepers of the Monastery of the Keepers, and you both walk up to the right. And it's like almost the exact same thing. You take an item, you throw it in, and then you get the result. It's the same thing. It's just got a different skin on it with some really cool, interesting voice lines. Like it's a parallel universe, right? So it's not really, in my view, just, and you can like follow up if you want, it's not really different at all. If you like the system, it's in both games. And so, thoughts? Do you see the parallels?
No, I do. I agree. And that's actually on a side note for that. That's actually one of the things that I do love is that you normally have a sequel to a game where they generally go off on their own direction or they stay very parallel to the game that they're a sequel of. But in this case, GGG has literally nailed both sides of the game in all directions, and they're taking from one and putting in two, and they're taking from two and putting in one, and I think it makes for a better game in both games. Now, I don't want them to be identical, but ideas maybe even restructured a little bit for the, like you said, you go up and to the right for the mechanic in PoE 2, you go up and to the right in the mechanic for PoE 1. So I love it. But back to the league mechanic, the tree and the womb gifts. I have been loving the tree for the sheer fact that not once until I hit T14, T15 maps did I have to worry about linking or socketing any piece of gear that I have got, because the majority of it came from the tree, and it's like reroll 150 times, reroll 10 times for the best result. So everything that I've gotten, the worst thing I had to worry about was coloring the sockets that I needed. Which is,
so what he's speaking to directly is there is a node on the Genesis skill tree you can choose. When you're rolling armor, it will evaluate the roll 150 times and give you the best results. So that's like saying, for free, every player just got 150 Jeweler's Orbs and 150 Orbs of Fusing for free on this really crazy, potentially high modified item. That's what he's referring to. And that's why I was kind of chiming in. I think that's why rock bottom prices this week in Rayclast, because you got thousands, hundreds of thousands of people playing this game, and they're all blasting these T6, like these 6-link items. Like, it's crazy. That's got to be why it's like you have to have sublime like you have to perfection, or else your gear is not worth being traded for, because this is happening. You know. So
I hope that the tree stays. I know it would be adjusted if it does. I have been currently, with the build that I'm currently working now, I have been using the tree to farm for the uniques that I need for my build that I'm going to roll into. And
interesting.
It was awesome because I don't know, obviously, exactly which uniques are available, if they're all available, because we normally have some uniques that are locked behind specific bosses, pinnacle bosses, or specific drops like that. I'm not sure if those are still locked behind that or if we can still potentially get those from the tree. But I do know I was able to score 3 of my 5 uniques that I need for my build. So that has been another awesome thing.
They would be locked behind a boss.
That would be my thought, but...
Yeah, like you're not getting crazy shit. Yeah. That's like, you're not going to get forbidden flesh and flame out of that fucking tree, because that'd be crazy. What you can get is a mage blood and headhunter. That's possible. But I'm happy, because the tree should not be able to produce this exceptional gear. It should not.
Oh, true. You have to have a reason to do the content in the game. Absolutely.
Correct. Yeah, like it's not spitting out nebulous void scepters from synthesized uber cortex, because if it did, I'd be full sending. Now, question, because this is like Genesis tree conversation that we're having. You're going for the uniques. So the ancient womb gifts is what you're doing to get uniques. But I'm curious, have you tried doing the lavish womb gifts, which is currency? And the reason I'm asking is if you just went all in on currency, lavish, 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 and it's literally dropping you chaos and divines and exalts and Hinakora's locks and mirrors of Kalandra, my man, you just shortcut your way to not only the uniques you wanted, but you just kitted out your next two tunes. Like,
True.
so what's the thought pattern there?
So it's a great thought. And trust and believe,
I get one a day.
Every currency womb gift that I get gets used. That's priority number one. Unfortunately, they're not too common. I think the most common ones that I have are the uniques.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Yeah,
okay, so
I just get a ton of the uniques. Well, it could be that I've used more of the provisioning. That could be the case because, like I said, pretty much my entire build has come from the tree. And it's cool because it's almost like crafting, but they gave you a free reign on respecking it at any given time. So, for example, if I want to farm for a better bow, I can put all the properties that I want. We'll say I don't want chaos modifiers. I can reduce 85% reduction of chaos modifiers to roll. I want attack modifiers, so I can increase the attack modifiers. I want to make sure it has lightning, so I can say, okay, 3,000% or 1,000% chance of rolling lightning modifiers. So now I have extra attack modifiers. I'm almost guaranteeing lightning, and there's not going to be any chaos. And now I basically just crafted my bow. I just need a high enough level womb gift in order to make sure it can roll the tier 1, tier 2 affixes on it.
So cool, right? Like, so cool that you can do that. What I was doing is in the mystery womb gifts, mysterious ones, I was selecting lavish. So when I got a mystery one, I was converting it to pump out more lavish, which is currency. And that's all I wanted to do. You just keep making me. Whenever I get the mystery, I'm double dipping. And you could do the same for ancient, by the way, man. So when you get it, maybe you can force ancient. Maybe you get some more legendaries uniques. Oh no, D4 curious. Yeah. So you get more ancient. So that's what I would do. I've been doing currency, but for anybody else, the bottom left tree is the mysterious one, and you'll get more points as you do more of the content. So if you guys are looking for like your second graft arm and you don't have it yet, to get your second graft arm, you have to complete a stabilized breach. You got to kill Varun, which is this really big guy. You'll know when he's there. He's in maps. He's loud. He's belligerent. He's fantastic. He's aggressive. He hits hard. So be prepared for a cool fight in hardcore. Be over leveled, please, and just enjoy your second graft arm because it's ridiculous what these graft arms can do. From a Righteous Fire perspective, you can get crazy stuff. Like that arm can take care of your +2 max fire resistance. It can give you additional life. And the reason those two things are so significant is typically the only way we get to 90 all res is we invest in a +2 max fire res jewel on the passive skill tree, which you no longer have to do. So that passive skill tree jewel can be something crazy like a Watcher's Eye, or it can be a double damage over time multiplier, 7% life fire res now, which would be nuts because of Nebula. So it's crazy to consider what a graft arm could do for endgame builds, but it's not really surprising because, new leagues usually have powerful stuff, and lo and behold, there it is again, right? So with new league stuff comes an NPC called Aelith, and she brought us 3 new breach mechanics, one being like the Hive, which is like, I call it the Alien Hotel. It's a big place you go into, you navigate the whole thing, get a bunch of XP early on, you get to open a bunch of chests, which could have these womb gifts.
That's the fortress, right?
That's the fortress. Yeah, that's the big one. Yep. So you get that. You'd also get the stabilize, which is essentially old school breach, and you defend Aelith while she's doing that. And then the other one would be you would have the other one is knocking down the walls. So you have the wall one, breach, stabilize one, and the hive. And so if you can do all 3 of those, you've done basically all of them except for the boss area, which is just another hive hotel. So that's new mechanics. I think it's pretty cool. I'm almost level 98, and so I've done plenty of these things. I'm not bored of it, but I definitely have ones that I prefer to see on map like 100 for the day versus like, okay, knock down all the walls, click all the purple points, which is just access points where the monsters come from, spawn points. I did notice that I got slightly more graft blood by activating more dots than other dots because more monsters were spawning, subsequently giving me more graft blood. But I would argue that the amount I was getting wasn't worth the squeeze. So I just like beeline it right to Aelith and run the event just to get in and get out of maps. That's been my thing. But overall, I think it's been cool. It makes maps a little bit longer, but I think the value's there. What are your thoughts on it so far when you're mapping? What do you think about it?
So I want to actually rewind the clock and go back into campaign. When you're running into the new league mechanic in campaign, It was one thing, and I'm going to throw out a name that if you played Diablo, you'll probably know it. Riker brought up a very valid point that I agreed with, and it was when you're going through the campaign and you're trying to stabilize these breaches, you were absolutely just trashed, right? You were failing over and over and over. And as a player or a casual player, in my opinion, it didn't feel very good to be forced to fail over and over and over again and trying to figure out why am I failing? What am I doing wrong? What can I do better next time? When you finally come to realize it wasn't until I think about Act 6, I think, was the first breach that I was able to stabilize. And apparently that's how it's intended. There's just not enough monsters to stabilize the breaches.
So part I'm going to be honest, part of what you said you cut out, and maybe you'll catch that in the VOD. I believe what you were just referring to from Hey Folks, This is Riker, is that early on there's not enough monsters, not enough density, or you're not strong enough to manipulate all the content to get the big reward, and that was the big pain point. Is that what you're saying?
Yes and no. It was more of like my build had no problem clearing every monster that was in the breach.
Oh,
so
okay.
It was a fail before you even started, and that's what I was not liking about it.
Okay, so that's poor. That happens. That happens. I get that. I would call that. I would chalk it up to bad implementation. Like you should be able to achieve success with these things. I also feel like if it's an alien invasion into our world, they should feel like they're invading. There should be a lot of them, and so I would call that a miss. But later on, not a big deal. But I would consider that's a miss. I think the vast majority of people I interact with and what their consensus was is they liked the content. They found themselves over leveled because of that content. They were just like
super
killing
XP.
more.
Yeah.
Super XP, super juice. So people are getting higher characters than before. Wasn't the greatest implementation. Nobody really knew what the dots were, but that's part of a new thing, right? You got to learn it. So yeah, I get that. Okay, and then so you're running some maps now. What are your thoughts now? You got 3 things you're doing
in maps. Last night. Was it last night? I think it was last
blends,
night.
Right? It all blends because the sleep doesn't start.
Yeah. I think it was last night or the night before was the first time I ran into a fortress, and I was like, "What the hell is this?" So, not knowing the mechanic, when you go in, for those of you that have not done a fortress yet, okay, you go in, you want to map out the entire map. Okay, and spoiler here, if you don't want spoilers, you want to figure it out on your own because you're hardcore and you want to die here, cool, go for it. Anyways, you want to map out the whole thing. They're going to be boxes you can open that have a chance of dropping extra womb gifts. I think I've found a total of like 10 womb gifts in one fortress. Now I've done probably half a dozen fortresses or so. But you'll want to map out the entire thing. When you get to the center, is where you're going to be doing the whole defend Aelith. Now, you're not going to have your standard 5 to 8 waves. You're going to have a total of 24 waves. Sometimes that's going to kick your ass. As you get towards the end, even with a strong build one-shotting stuff, they still get close to Aelith, which is another thing they patched, which I was so stoked to hear that was patched before I ever got there. First, when they were running towards Aelith, they would focus on Aelith and target her first and would be able to hit her from a decent distance away. So a lot of people were just getting screwed out of the fortress to begin with. So it's cool that now they're targeting you first, and if they get close enough to Aelith, then they might get a hit here or there. They also added like a timer buffer to her to where like she can't get shotgunned down anymore either. So that's a win. So they're already fine-tuning and adjusting. And that's one thing I love about GGG is they're always on their game.
They're fast on it, man. They're quick with it. They're quick with it. They deserve some props.
Yes.
That's work ethic right there, man. They cover their cheeks, yeah.
Yes. Sure. So with that being said, you got it all mapped out. You defended Aelith. Now, this is where I have issues. And now this is me personally, okay?
All right.
Not the game. I love the mechanic. I love the mechanic. It's cool. But after you defend her, now you have to escape. Okay? They have blockades that are put in different various areas. So if you haven't mapped out the map, you don't know which way is going to be the way out. So it's a little maze at times. Sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's not. I made the mistake of not mapping it out one time, and that was the only time. So as you're escaping, though, there's this wave of damage that goes. As an evasion-based character, as far as I know, you cannot evade it. There's no evasion. Evasion does not work for it. So if you don't have defense to defend against that or some way to recover that, you're going to be out of potions really quick, and you're going to be ass up face down before you get out. And there goes your rewards.
Yeah. Okay, interesting. So let me tell you the flip side of it. As a Righteous Fire healing character, tanky guy, we don't map it. We don't care. We have enough time to regenerate the waves. And so we just find our way out. We shield charge to victory, baby, and we don't stop. But I bet you that, and this is interesting hearing your perspective, it's a interesting dichotomy. It's like you absolutely annihilate the first 24, like you absolutely annihilate those 24 waves. We don't. We have to slip and slide around every lane and ignite a guy, have Hinakora's explosion, depending on the Righteous Fire build that you are going off, just to make sure you can wax all those lanes so she's nice and clean. And sometimes you'll still fail because of the buffs if your character's not strong enough. So we suffer in the waves where you're basically watching the clock waiting to get out of town, and then we haul ass out of town because you struggle there. So it's interesting that they put the fear of God into you depending on how you brought that pain, you know?
Yeah.
That's kind of sweet. Yeah, cool shit. Yeah, so overall though, so you escape, and then this is the part he didn't mention. So you've survived 24 waves. You found your way out of the alien hive, this hive hotel, right? The fortress, and then bam, you get out, you get showered with loot. Like if you do this on multiplayer, guys, you get a ton of it. It is worth your time doing it. Like, have you had a chance to do that on at least Players 4? Have you seen those explosions?
I've done it on Players 3, and I'll tell you that I had to immediately change my loot filter.
Okay, so you know right there, right? Yeah, so he was seeing way too much.
Way too much.
That's great. Yeah. No, so it's like that, right? And so that's pretty cool. It's I would say it's a good league mechanic, in my opinion, where you want to engage with it even after a week. You don't feel like it's lost value. You feel like it offers something, so you're not entirely just ignoring it and going back to regular content. I think that it's successful in that regard, at least for me. But I can see where some people are numb to it, and they don't want to engage with it because they have their uniques. They're getting T16.5, T17 clears, and they're more than wealthy, and they don't need that. Like, I can see both audiences, but even if you're super wealthy and you want to spice it up, the league mechanic is not going to let you down in that regard. Yeah. So I've been enjoying that.
Yeah.
Feel the same way about that or what?
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
The one downside I will say, and you brought this up a little bit earlier, is the walls. And they did say that they're working on some way of potentially just clearing all the walls or the majority of the walls, which would be great because it's a pain in the ass to have to run around a giant circle just to get rid of walls so that the enemies can get to you so you can get your graph blood.
Yeah. Okay. So are they talking about the walls for the mapping, or are they talking about the Hive Fortress walls with that? Which one are they talking about?
I believe they're talking about the walls when you're defending Aelith in a normal map setting.
Oh, that's different. Okay, I was talking about Hive Fortress, like barricades, walls.
Okay, you were
okay. You can't get it. Yeah,
gotcha.
Yeah, okay, yeah. They should, because what you're talking about is an absolute pain in the ass. So in that mode, there's walls you walk through when you get your first graft arm. Aelith, the first thing she tells you is you can walk in and you'll see these walls, just kind of purple effects, kind of dissipate. And so they're working on that so you can just get through it, which would be kind of nice. I hope, because it is a bit obstructive when you just can't navigate to where you want to go. Every ARPG feels bad when mobility's compromised, I would say. But let's go through a thought exercise. Okay. So you're doing this new mechanic. You're in maps. You're doing T15s. Your build's popping off. Your evasion, and all of a sudden, boom, you get one shot. But you were a hardcore character, and now you're dead. One of the things brought to light in 3.27 was the conversion of a hardcore death, mitigating that loss being completely gone. You're in Standard League now. Now when you die in hardcore, you go to the softcore trade league of Keepers of the Flame. And so this has been a bit of a community hot topic. What do you think about that take? Do you think it's good for the game? Do you think it's good for the player base, the economy? Big question, I guess. What are your thoughts on it, if you've given any thought?
So I have given it thoughts, and let's just put it out there on the table. Where did this come from?
Yeah, I don't know.
Path of Exile 2.
Oh, interesting.
They put it in Path of Exile 2, right?
Okay. Yeah, it's true.
And then, and it was good. It was received well in Path of Exile 2, which is a big thing that's happening here with both games in GGG, is if it's well received, we'll work on it or implement it into the other game in some manner or another, which is great. I love it. I personally love the mechanic coming from a casual player because I used to do nothing but hardcore. The downside to hardcore is that anything that you had on you, not in your stash, but on you as a player, whether you're wearing the gear or it's in your stash, is gone. Just gone. Yeah. So everything you worked hard for is just gone. I like that mechanic, and that's what makes the mechanic thrive in my eyes, is because you are risking it all. Now you're not risking it all, but you do not have whatever you had in the hardcore version. Most people, general hardcore players, are just going to continue on, new character, start over, right? But more casual players like me or some of the community members that we have that do play hardcore and softcore, they'll just continue on in softcore. So I personally feel that that's great, because then you don't feel like you just wasted your time. You can continue on if you so choose. If you liked that character, you can test it. You can keep pushing it.
Interesting too. Like as I hear you talking about it, like I wonder if this also coincides with the loot value going down, because everything leads back to softcore trade. Mm-hmm. If you're in hardcore trade and you die in previous leagues like 326, 325, you couldn't contribute to the economy in a softcore fashion from a hardcore death, where now you could. So I wonder if that's another mitigating factor for the price kind of not holding on a good valuable item, because someone might zero out just because. I don't know if that's true, but I mean, it could be, you know?
I would say the only issue I would have with it, and it's not even really an issue, it doesn't really bother me or impact me, but your stash, what's in your inventory, not stash, I'm sorry, what's in your inventory, I would say just wipe it, because that does bring the little controversial topic of, oh, well, I've earned, a couple mirrors and a few hundred divs in hardcore. Let me go just take it all to softcore for whatever reason.
What is it? It's been 9 days? If anybody has a mirror and a couple hundred divs in hardcore, that's suspect.
But you know they do. You know they do. That's how dedicated these Path of Exile 1 players are.
They're crazy good at it, man. Yeah. So I feel the same way. I feel pretty much the same way as you feel, except for the inventory thing. I'm fine with the implementation. It's okay. It's not burning any bridges.
No.
It's cool. I'm always kind of down to try something and just, throw some shit at the wall, see what sticks. I don't mind that approach, and I will guinea pig it and give it a go. I don't necessarily play into the negative energy conversation of, I don't want PoE 2 to be a PO1. I don't want PO1 to be 2. I want to play a good ARPG, for Christ's sake. Give me that and I'll be dialed in. And my sleep schedule's been absolutely fucked because of this. This game is great, as was the last Path of Exile 2 league. So I don't fall into that conversation, really. Honestly, I don't. I just want to play a fun game. So talking about a fun game, my excursion into Rayclast from the map receptacle is now becoming more of a hideout warrior. So for me, because of everything we've been kind of discussing, and a segue to the next one, which would be crafting stuff, a lot of the crafts I got last league for Righteous Fire, they still work, and they're still some of the most efficient ways to do it. And it's been the most wealthy things I can do outside of a loot strategy for like me in the current league. So I'm curious to see like if you've done any crafting for your building stuff, or is there a strategy you're using that you want to talk about? Because crafting for me, putting in modifiers or putting in like influenced items like Hunter's Influence, Shaper's, Elder's Influence into my stuff and selling that through my merchant tab has been the most lucrative. Like I'm not really trying to flip for profit here, but I've got about 150 divine worth of sales just from upgrading my character throughout the league. That could have easily been 300 at this point. Could have been even more depending on how high I want to go. I'm not doing that. But if I look at that and I compare it against my current strategy of strong boxes, harbingers, and harvest, it's good, but it's not nearly as valuable as just crafting. So long-winded question to you, been my example so far. What have you been doing to get wealthy? What are you doing to fund your characters and crafting? What are your thoughts?
So in all of my history, this league, I think I have a total of maybe 4 or 5 divs worth of currency across.
What? Okay.
I mean, It is what it is. I've been taking it slow. I haven't been slammed back. This is also the time of year where my job
is super busy,
starts
right?
getting packed away, so we're doing extra things to take care of that. But needless to say, I haven't even completed my Atlas. I'm on T16s.
Okay. So
right. But that's what I'm saying. That's
you
my
say 4 to
first.
5. How did you get it? How did you get 4 to 5?
Just raw div drops, or I think I've sold one Valdo's puzzle box as well.
Oh,
So
all those. Okay. So the drops. Okay, cool. So what are you doing for like a loot farm strategy so far from like the casual perspective, would you say?
like I said, I haven't even really started the whole loot farming for profit or to sell or to get better gear, essentially because I've just been trying to make my build good enough
Better. Yeah.
to be able to get through the T16 maps. Now, I can do a T16 map with my Thunderstorm build. I am switching away from that now, though, because there's just more powerful options so I can get the currency to make that build viable for pinnacle bosses. Like, that's always like, that's your general, like, that's where you want to go, because you eventually have to kill the pinnacle bosses to unlock your different stuff for the league, right? To do your challenges and all that stuff. So I'm still working on that. But as far as my go-to league mechanic is and probably always will be Blight. You don't need to have any gear. You can literally go into Blight with 2 rings on and win the map and get your loot with no effort. Holy shit.
Right, and so the 2 ring thing, you can anoint. You can basically dress up 2 rings so that the towers, it's a tower defense mechanic, they're a little bit stronger, and so that would actually amplify your success just because you invest in your character on the ring slot. That's what he's talking about. Your towers do something extra special, right?
Correct. And you anoint the rings. I think the 2 most powerful ring anoints right now are your cold towers freeze for 0.2 seconds when they hit, and meteors stun. So you combine that with a stun tower, and you can pretty much stun lock them until they die, so you don't have to really do anything. AFK tower defense. You have to build your towers in the right places, but outside of that, yeah, it's pretty much free win.
Yeah, the loot explosions are always so juicy. I've seen so many clips just, all around town. It's just people hit some crazy pops and Blight. Like, it's just nuts. I say pops, I mean like big loot explosions. So yeah. Would you advocate on that this season? Is it feeling good for you?
So with this season, they brought a great quality of life. So before, you had to click each little. It's like a pestule. It's like
it's a bag of goodies. Yeah,
it's like a bag of goodies, and they have an icon over it as to what group of items you're going to get. But before, you have to click on each one individually. Now, mind you, there's normally anywhere from 3 to 6 or 7 clickable goodie bags at the end of every lane, right? And there's normally, we'll just say on average, there's normally 20 plus lanes. So you can imagine the amount of clicking you have to do. Now, any group of them, so if some are overlapping as well, you click on one and it opens them all within like a radius of your character or where you click. So great. And it gives you that nice loot explosion feel too.
Yeah, that dopamine. Yeah. So for me, I'm going Harbinger, which, my God, anybody who's going to do Harbingers, I hope your loot filter is correct. And the second thing is, because they drop currency shards, they don't drop just raw currency items. It's parts of a currency item. So I've blown out my left finger 4 times already this season. This thing's going ham. And I could use a macro where I could mouse wheel up and down to emulate the left click just to make life easier. I haven't done that yet. I'm still just keeping it honest. And so I just...
What do you mean that is honest?
Filter. Yeah, it's not doing that. It's like I'm not doing that.
Well, it's not a macro, right? It's technically not a macro.
It is a macro. It's a third-party thing that I use. Like, you don't have to do it. You could do it in game, but like anybody who has any software running, you could definitely do this too.
Oh,
if you're not comfortable doing it in game. Yeah. So it doesn't have to be a macro, but you could use macros to do it. And so I'm not there yet, but Harbingers has been pretty great. Fracturing orb prices are down, but I don't care because I just made my amulet, and so or my cogwork ring actually. So how this would like matter to anybody listening if you're trying to make one. It's a 1 in 4. I have a 25% chance to fracture the right mod, and if I don't, the rings kind of poop. And so I hit it, and I hit again. This is the second time in a row that yep, that's right. And so I hit it twice. And so my cogwork ring like is nice. Like this early on, it's I consider this early still in the league. I've never been this far into a league this fast. And I think that's because of experience from the previous league. That ring is worth, it's got to be somewhere like 80 to 90 divine minimum. It's very well rolled, and it's like unbelievable. Tier 1 life, tier 1 chaos, tier 1 damage over time. Like, and like anybody knows anything about cogwork rings, like the magnitudes of these suffixes are even better. So you don't just get that ring. Like that's not popping out of the Genesis tree. You got to do heist to get it, and then you can beast split it. And so anyway, I was very happy with that. And it was a lot cheaper for me because I was running Harbinger content with strong boxes, which have been pretty great. I would say overall, like the loot chaos is dropping like well. And for you, I know you're doing like, you're doing Blight and stuff, but if you tried strong boxes, you might fall in love with it because it's a good complement to a map. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
I'll do Harbingers. I love Harbingers. I tried the Strongbox strat a few times, and don't get me wrong, you do make a profit, and you can win. It's just more clicking. And yeah, I say I did Harbingers, but
yeah. No, it depends on what you want to do. And that's the cool thing. I guess you've got a profitable system. I've got a profitable system. Player X has one, and we all kind of get where we want to go. And to a previous comment you made, just kind of like subsequent to the conversation of farming stuff, it's interesting that in other ARPGs, the power structure scale is, can you attain this level of depth somewhere? Or in our game, Path of Exile 1, it's, can you kill that boss? Does your character's build come together to overcome that challenge instead of just beating a timer? And I feel like that's maybe one of the big things that I find super interesting, not only from like a build perspective, but from a game perspective. I want to be challenged by content and not just beat the content in a certain amount of time. I think that maybe that rewarding feeling is what I was just hoping for, And I hope in Path of Exile 2, and when 0.4 comes out, the Druid comes out, the end game change happens. Man, it's like we got a bright future in Path of Exile. Like it's looking real good.
We got big news about that today too.
What'd they say? I didn't hear. I didn't catch it.
I sent it to you. It was the release.
I'm the worst. I didn't read it yet. Go ahead. Sure.
The 0. They didn't come out with anything crazy, but they basically just said we're on track for the release of 0.4 early December.
Early December. Ooh, okay. But I was saying December 2nd. I wonder if that's when it's going to be. Man. Who knows? Could be sweet. What is there? What is there? Are you looking for something? Is there a date or something?
I was just looking for December 2nd, but they normally release their stuff on Fridays. So probably 5th.
So you think a 5th?
5th or 12th.
Okay, then sign me up. I'll be blasting that for sure. I love it. I remember the last League got PoE2 that came out. I was on stream and I was trying to decipher. I was using AI like everybody. We're trying to decipher this frickin' picture with these silly lines and what did it all mean and typography. Like we're kicking it all down. It was like King comes back in the frozen cold or ice age. I was like, what? Oh, Act 5, and we weren't even right about that.
No.
Like, I try not to get too hyped about it, but I want to know. And they're so good. The company's so good at just carrot on a stick in us, just not telling us, but kind of showing us what's up. They do such a good job with that. I gotta say, like big fan. So when it comes to this, those are the key things that I wanted to discuss. I want to discuss that. I could throw a couple extra like little golden nuggets for people going through the league to kind of get some value before it gets too late. But were there any key points you wanted to discuss as well?
My only thing that we kind of browsed over real quick and I forgot to bring it up was when we were discussing asynchronous trade. So For those of you that don't know, Path of Exile 1 has always had a major issue with botting and bots. Cool, whatever. It's part of the game. It ain't going nowhere. You can't stop bots. You can do your best to slow them down, but this is the question that I have to you. Do you think that asynchronous trade has helped with the potential botting issue we've seen or have in Path of Exile 1? Or do you think, hot take, do you think that it's still here just as strong, if not stronger, because of asynchronous trade? Because
no, I think it's worse.
Okay. And that's That's exactly what I was saying, because I've seen some crazy shenanigans of being able to turn off the loading for other people's hideouts to where basically they're just instantaneously buying the item as soon as they click the teleport to hideout. It literally just black screen, and then the trade window comes open and they buy it almost instantaneously. So
Oh wow. Okay, so I don't even know about that. That wasn't even part of my answer. So I look at like what are the hoops I have to jump through if I was gonna bot. Like you don't teach the thief how to steal, right? You just don't. You just have to know what your exploitive vulnerabilities are, and you kind of put some preventative measures in. I think Grinding Gear Games has done that, and so I'll expand on this further because I'm not in charge of security over there at Grinding Gear Games, but the simple fact that you need to have gold on that person to do the trade at that time means that a brand new email address being created, a new account created, a level 1 character existing can't just get in there and grab it after it was automatically given loot from another account that was disingenuously producing it. They need gold now. So that means that the character has to have gold on it, which means that character has to either run some content, it has to get some content, or be carried in content to subsequently get that gold. And so I could see bot programs running to do that, but that means that they're not in that situation of just waiting in the wings for a trade. So just by definition, the amount of hoops they have to go through to do that has increased. That means I think the processes have a more severe application to what a bot needs to do to become valuable to somebody for that. So it's probably less, but it's still happening. And to your point, you're not going to get rid of it. I would love the world where that's gone. It's just human interaction, but that's not real life. That's fantasy land. That's Neverland Ranch. So, you know, I'm happy with something instead of nothing.
I agree.
If you want to see what nothing looks like, in my opinion, you can fire up Diablo 2 Resurrected, create a brand new account, and you could log into the lobby system, and you'll see the exact same shitty websites that have been existing since the beginning of time, and those accounts are not being deleted. And I don't understand, because you can right-click and see the BattleNet tag. So if you want to see what low effort looks like, have a look at that. And I'm pretty passionate about that. Like the vitriol inside me is just boiling because I've brought that up to that company. And when I don't see the reaction, I get a little bit numb. So I know exactly what effort looks like. I see GGG do it instantly with their updates. Like they're so fast. That's why I did the applause. Like I see it, and I know when I don't see it. So yeah, long-winded answer again. Sorry.
No, it's okay. I agree. I like it. That's what this is all about. Long-winded discussion about what we're passionate on, right?
Dude, I just love video games, and I love connecting with people in video games. And Spooker and I, guys, if you're listening, we had a chance to meet up at TwitchCon. Literally shook this man's hand, embraced him in a hug many times, and I watched him dance. Like, this guy's got moves. I'll tell you now, that guy moves well. And so I had such a pleasure meeting people. And the thing is, the reason I kind of get this way is that I got a chance to meet other amazing people in my life that I would have never done because of video games. And the second that a company wants to jeopardize that with botting, RMT, any shortcuts, I've got to raise the shield in defense of humans on this one, because I love what it does in life. I love what it gets to do. It makes people feel good. It gives you something to do when you get home from work. And it's really important for me that I champion the cause, because I'm not ready to lose the battle yet. I'm not even like, I'm going to die on this hill for this thing. I might not win the war, but fuck, I'll fight. And so when I see a lack of effort, I'm going to call that out, because I want that effort there, because it aids people. And so when I see other games that I used to play a lot more of, and there's consistent botting to the umpteenth degree that I'm not seeing answers on, I get a little bit upset. And I'm being very generous there. So I get fucking mad. It's like, fix this, guys. Don't we care? Like, do I care more? If I care more, what are we doing? And so when I see Grinding Gear Games do it, I love it. I love the reaction. They're great. They clearly play the game too, which is awesome. So that's why I chat with that. That's why I say those things. I appreciate the people that I get to meet from these things, and it's a wonderful thing.
I completely agree there. I completely agree. There was, before we get to your next list item, I know you said we pretty much touched based on all of them, but you were about to go somewhere after that.
Yeah, sure.
I did have one more point of discussion, which I haven't personally done it, but I've heard from many community members, those of you that are doing the King's March things. I haven't done anything in King's March. However, the gold, I have noticed a significant reduction in the amount of gold that you're getting. Generally speaking, normally by the time I finish my Atlas, I normally have a few million, give or take, you know.
Really? Wow.
You are using it for asynchronous trade, so there is a little bit minus there, but not to the amount of what I feel like. I have respec a couple times, so that's a few 100,000 gold each time for those, roughly.
Heavy. Yeah.
And I'm sitting at about 500,000, and I'm on T16 maps. So I got like 4 maps away from Atlas completion, which again,
Congratulations. Hell yeah.
even minus the 500,000, I would normally still be sitting at 1.5, maybe 2 million gold.
Sure.
Well, we had Thracia and Settlers. Settlers was like a year, but we had like a reset on Settlers too. That was there as well, which not everybody partook in that. But anyways, what I'm getting at is I feel like there's been a reduction to the amount of gold you get. And on top of that, I've had a lot of community members saying their mappers for King's March have been dying a significantly higher amount this league than they have previously. So what's your thoughts and how do you feel about that?
Okay, so my thoughts are anytime you want to increase gold, no one's going to complain. I want that myself. I'm not even kidding, guys. Before we started this podcast, I ran 2 maps to make sure I had enough gold coverage for the hour that we're going to be chit-chatting today so my guys could run it. And so I need more gold. I have yet to go into the gold farming or the gold application runs of I'm 115 on the Atlas. I'm lucky. Like I said, it's the fastest I've cleared the game. So I know I'm pulling about 10K gold per map, but if I go with 4 All Flames of the Gilded and a Scarab of Bloodlines on a canyon map that's juicy with pack size, I'm going to produce. Like, I know that sucker is going to pay out the gold. So I haven't done that yet, but I'm aware of the method I could do it. To your question, King's March is not something that I think you sleep on. King's March is it's essentially just another back end loot system for you to get wealth, and you should be engaging with this when you can responsibly maintain gold, or else you're going to feel pain, pressure to get gold, like frustrated because you're not getting your gold. It's like it's a problem. So gold is tight at the end game, and so with King's March, to answer your question again, I think that I have not lost I know I have not lost a single mapper, and I've sent those fucking guys into T17 corrupted, 16.5 just to see what happens, corrupted 8 mod maps, T16 8 mod corrupted, and I haven't lost a single soul. But the thing is, and I can't speak for anybody else, the thing is I'm using level 5, which is the highest mapper you can get, and I only have 2 level 4 guys. So when the maps are done, I pause, I bring level 5. So I'm using the max rank mappers, and I haven't lost anybody yet. So I actually haven't done mappers in a previous season, so I have nothing to compare against.
Okay.
But I can tell you the gold still feels like it did before. If not, I have a little bit more so, I would say. I remember last season in Mercenaries League, I was doing gold runs with community members. I was getting 800,000 gold a map because I was just sending boats to the water. Like I was doing boats, and so that was a lot of gold in and out. And now that I'm doing mappers, it's even more so. So yeah, it's been. The gold problem is real. I have not lost any mappers, and I think everybody should do King's March. If you're against it or you're foreign to it, just do a little bit of research into it, YouTube some videos, listen to people, get involved in streams, ask questions, and don't miss out, because there's a reason people are wealthy, and it's because they're using these other tools in the game instead of just running that content. And so if you're not, you're just kind of behind, you know?
So quick side question. You said you haven't lost a mapper. That's great. Awesome.
Yeah, I agree.
How many are you sending in all 6 mapper slots for them when you're doing the mapping on one device?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. And that might be the difference, that some people weren't doing that before because you didn't have to before, but now maybe they've adjusted the mechanic to where, you do need to run your multiple mappers, which can get their mappers. Just to put it in perspective, the mapper workers are the most expensive worker in King's March.
Okay, so yeah, that's true. I can feel that. I'll vouch for that. What they can come back with, though, they can come back with Mirrors of Kalandra. I've heard some success stories. The most I've gotten out of one mapper, and I've pushed through hundreds of maps, and I'm just unlucky here, but I've got 1.4 divine from one item. So that was one item in a window. Think of it like ritual of goods they bring back, and so. The cool thing is you can apply a loot filter to it. You can siphon off crap and just keep the stuff that you want. It's a lot of bubblegum or raw currency. It's just been wonderful. It's been really, really good. And I recommend everybody do it. But like I said, responsibly with your gold, because once the gold's gone, you can't do a trade. You can't do a damn thing. You just have to go farm more maps. So it might start feeling like a job to keep King's March going. But just know that King's March is there to aid you as the player. You're not there as its employee, right? They work for you. You're the mayor of King's March, and you go ahead and tell them what's going to happen and what's not going to happen. So whether you're disenchanting stuff for dust, so you can like, send boats out, or you're using the recombinator, you need gold in this game for those things. And sometimes King's March can siphon it for you. Yeah.
Sweet. So
my last one.
Go ahead.
No,
go ahead. We'll do you, and then I'll finish.
I'll win. I'll win if you want to wait. Okay, I'll go. So the next question I had for you, and I was going to discuss it, was like progressing after week one. We're going into week 2 now, right? So in week 2, where do you see your character going? What do you want to do? Do you have any goals you want to aspire to? Like, what do you do? What's Spooker HD doing in week 2, and where do you think other people should be, casual or otherwise? Where should they be right now in the league? What should they be doing?
So in week 1, I feel like as a casual player, you should not be upset if you haven't finished the campaign. As a casual player, I would say if you hit the 2-week marker and you're avidly playing, whether it's an hour or 2 hours a day, if you hit the 2-week marker and you're just now finishing the campaign, you're doing great. Like, that is excellent for a casual player, 100%.
Yep.
Now, if you're me and you're a casual player, but you just have a lot more time that you put into your game, I would say at week 1, roughly day 8 or 9, you should be potentially working on your Atlas if you haven't completed it already, and keeping in mind maybe what your goal for that for your league is, and transversing into that step of your process through the league. So me, in week 1, it's a little bit slower because I started with a brand new skill where there was no knowledge out there. So I'm taking old knowledge for skills that are out there and what works for them, and trying to combine and recombine and do and undo many different nodes. Speaking of the whole, I've spent almost $500,000 on respecking just to see what works. It's been a lot slower of a process to get through Atlas, but I'm having fun. I'm enjoying something new. So it's not a re-going through a process to just get to the end point. So in week 1's completion, I was ahead of what I thought I would be. I was able to do T16 maps.
Awesome.
I wasn't corrupting them because I cannot do reflect maps. And 4 out of 4 Vol orbs re-rolled it with reflect map. I couldn't, and just to show you how pitiful evasion can be, you cannot evade a reflected damage. So reflecting 18% of an average of 300 physical damage would kill me.
yeah, and by the way, mostly everybody else. Yeah, got it.
With that being said, though, in week 1, I was able to complete tier 16 maps, so I was happy. I was at a good pace. Week 2, I am going to be working on my progress into my reroll character, which is going to be the next step in being able to complete my pinnacle bosses. So I've gotten Searing Exarch and Eater of Worlds, I think, up to T16 marker. So my next stone from them will be the fight, I believe.
Okay, yeah. So your next pinnacle fights would be 2 stoning, right? You'd be getting your
2 stoning.
Searing Exarch stone, and then your Eater of Worlds stone. And if anybody's new to the game and you found the podcast, thanks for listening so far. We're going to use terminology like 2 stone, 4 stone. You can think of it like if you're watching the Marvel movies, there's the Soul Stones, like the Infinity Gauntlet. The Atlas in this game has something similar. It's got 4 stones. And so these stones come from what we call pinnacle fights, which are like trademark big boss encounters. And if you can overcome them successfully, they'll put their soul into the map for you to empower maps within it so that you get more value to the maps that you run, which is why you want to do it. And so Spooker, I guess, is saying you want to go for 2. The next 2 fights are going to be that for you.
Yep, and that's where, yeah. And with my Thunderstorm build, as I was explaining earlier, the boss damage is there, but I have to be in their face, which is not good for evasion-based builds, because evasion-based builds, like I said earlier, you're either alive or you're dead. There's no in between. So I have to solve that issue if I want to progress Thunderstorm, but for now, I'm just swapping to Transfigured Gem Elemental Hit of the Spectrum, which is basically allows me to do physical reflect maps because there is no physical damage on there.
Love that. Yeah, finally. And then you can run those maps, right? Which is great.
Yeah.
Sweet. Cool. So for me, and then what I recommend and stuff. So for me, I've done faster completion this league, which has blown my mind. So what I try to do is when the league comes out, I'd like to be done the campaign on the first night. That's typically what I'm able to do by the second morning. Like I wrap up my activities, I'm live for 8 hours, I'm interacting with people, I'm a little bit slower because of this. I'm not a speed runner by any means, but I've played enough of this game that I should be able to do that. And this was the first time where I did it in 7 hours, which is still long by anybody else's measure, but great for me. And so I was done that in 7 hours, which means I was already in like T16s on the second day as a Righteous Fire guy, which is pretty abnormal for my standards. So I was pretty impressed. I had my 2 stones done. And then by the second day, I was 4 stoned, ready to go. And the crazy thing is that I did all this crafting last season. So I knew how to shortcut my gear cheaply without having to wait for that guy to post my boots for 4 divine, because I never had 4 divine. And I was able to craft my way up to success. And then rightfully so, I was running through some pretty easy content. So I would say I'm on the market or ahead of it in terms of like the gear I was getting. So I was very happy with my progress. This has been the best league ever. And so I've been able to like pay it forward to other guild members and give them some of the gear, pay it forward so they can have strong characters too. It's been great. Spooker made a great point though, man. You made a great point. It's that you shouldn't compare your progress to other people. We all live different lives, right? So I can't walk a mile in your shoes. You can't walk a mile in mine. Wherever you are, be okay with that. And just setting goals for yourself is really important. But set realistic goals. Like if it's a brand new league and you play a couple hours a day, maybe you get to Act 3 that night. That'd be great. Cool. Maybe you get to Act 2. Great. If the next day you're in Act 4, sweet. And you just piecemeal it, right? You get there where you want to get. And I think it's important to have realistic goals. So you play a build that's built for that goal that you want to do. That's what I do. I'm goal oriented. So for me, my current goal is to wear Kalandra's Touch, which means freaking balancing my modifiers on my gear. Once I get Kalandra's Touch on, I'm going to make a double implicit helmet that's got hopefully 3 level 25 skills on it so that I can just absolutely crush single target, like 7 million base damage per throwing trap and just murk the game. Like if I can do that, I can help anybody with anything except for 5 ways because I'm not that fast. So getting 100 and getting that helmet and getting Kalandra's Touch, that's my short term when I'm done that. I think I'm going to make a hardcore character next just to try a whole new skill that I haven't really played before and just see what's up. So that's my progress. I'm going to try Earth Shatter is what I'm going to do.
Going slams.
Yeah, I'm going to try an Earth Shatter build just to try it in hardcore. The cool thing, yeah, fun. Have some fun. Try something new. Become vulnerable. Learn some stuff. Learn, right? That's what I want to do. So I'm so looking forward to that. I can't wait. Can't wait to see how it goes. I hear good things.
Yeah, slams are super strong this league. I'm not sure exactly why slams are like overperforming or whatever the case may be, but yeah, I've seen a lot of the slam builds are just annihilating content. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, like I watched one of our community members. I'm gonna give a shout out here, Crouchin. He was playing and he like one taps a boss, and like we one tap a boss with Righteous Fire because we stand next to him and shake hands. But that damage though, I was like, that damage is so hot. I want to try that. Whatever that is, I want to try that. And so bossing damage, we'd be kind of silly not to talk about the upcoming boss event, which is a thing. So if you guys get to, I think it's level 50, I'd have to read the post again, and we should totally put this in the YouTube video description, but there should be a post talking about getting a free loot box to anybody that participates in this boss run. So challenge, so not necessarily guys goals, don't aim to win it, just aim to participate and get a certain level and see how you do.
Yep, kind of like cool. What was it, the Zizarin hardcore gauntlet?
Kind of like that. Yep. Same kind of thing. So it'll be fun. Give it a shot. Earn some free loot. MTX always looks nice, and give it a shot. So that's all I got for this podcast, man. That was it. I'm ready to go back into maps. I think I'm out of gold.
Yeah, probably. 2 rapid fire questions. So we have new thing that was introduced this league, and it's using gold for respecs. So
Yeah.
in my eyes, huge W. It's always been my big turnoff in the game, honestly, because it can be very expensive to get Orbs of Regrets in order to respec your character. So good, bad, indifferent. What's your take?
Great.
Okay, great. I love it. And the second one, which is I was misunderstanding at first, but the identify all NPC when you complete Act 1 and get to Act 2. I love that
Yep.
because I am always, and when I say always, I normally have scrolls of identify showing on my loot filter while I'm mapping. Most people turn it off as soon as they get to maps, but that's just me. I love that now we can unlock. It was supposed, I remember reading it somewhere that it was supposed to use identify scrolls, but it would just mass identify them. But I think they either changed that or maybe I'm just an idiot and misread it.
I think you're in the land of imagination. That's okay.
very
There's
true
a lot
too.
of stuff they do. They literally put out so much stuff. People call it a manifesto of changes. So I believe that wasn't the case, but maybe I'm wrong. Who knows? I love the identify NPC. It feels very Diablo, which is where I come from. It's my ARPG. It's my
Stay a
kind of
while and
door into
listen.
the world. Stay a while, right? And listen. So I love it a lot, man. I think it's great. It does dilute the enjoyment of hitting that wisdom scroll like really early on, day one. You didn't think a wisdom
Stay a
scroll could feel
while and
good. Well, wait till you have a
listen.
rare pair of boots that could have movement speed and you just need a scroll. It's like, I could have it. It's just, you don't know. And so that moment goes away when you have an NPC that can just do it. You don't need to look for the item. The Orbs of Regret do lose value because you can respec with gold. So all in all, though, I think it's a great thing for the game because it lets people who haven't played this game before try the game with less barriers.
Mhm.
Now, I don't need it to be Magic Christmas Land where everything's given to you. Like, we don't need Silver Spoon gameplay like they fixed with landmines, which we should talk briefly before we wrap this up.
That's true.
I think it's great. It's great that people can get in the game easier and maybe they get to maps and get addicted like the rest of us. But they won't know that unless it's kind of a bit easier on a 10-year-old game with modern ARPG experiences changing. Kind of makes sense.
Yep.
Landmines. The company literally put in, hey, if you're going to buy this, it's different than the price you came in to buy it at from the merchant tab. You sure you want to do that? That was saving people because people were mass buying maps or something. And what traders were doing is instead of selling it for 2 chaos, they're selling it for like 2 divine, 200 chaos. And they were ripping people off. Now, I don't mind making people read what they're buying. I don't think that's a crazy thing to ask. Also, I'm not someone who got hit by a landmine. So I don't really have a horse in this race. I'm just thinking, I like it when it's the Wild West to some degree, and people trading responsibly feels kind of right. You shouldn't need Big Brother to watch over you because you're going so fast. Slow down, man. Just slow down. We're literally talking about a patch that's been implemented in the fucking game. It's 2 weeks into the league. How fast are you going here? Like, right? So,
no, I agree.
What do you think about it?
I think it's funny. I honestly, I can just laugh because I don't know about you, but when I go to the grocery store, I don't just throw shit in my cart and then get to the teller and they're like, "Oh, well, this is $55.99," and it's like, "Oh, well, I don't want that now." You know?
Then you take that, you put that to the side because I ain't buying that. I'm not
exactly.
buying that.
So
Right?
it's the same concept there in my eyes. I don't mind that they put the warning there. Cool. For those players that want to Speedy Gonzalez, whatever. But me, I am checking every item, making sure it's the price I'm willing to pay way before I click that buy button and swipe my card.
Right, but in this example, what happened is you went to the grocery store and your son or daughter tossed in that big, huge T-bone steak, and you let them scan it, you let them put it in the bag, and you found out after, and you look at the receipt that you bought that T-bone steak, and there's no going back. You can't take it to the store. That's what's going on. So I get it. That's the landmine part, right? Like in your analogy,
but where were you when they were scanning the items?
That's my thing. You got to be responsible. It's the Wild West, right?
Exactly.
I think, it sounds like we both agree. I think it's funny because people are getting hit by landmines. I think you're a dick if you do it. Like, as an example, when I told you I was making that cogwork ring, I put all the currency up, but he doesn't even put the ring in the trade window, and he hits accept. He just hits accept. He wanted to take all my currency. And I sat there and waited. And then he put the ring in, and then I made him wait. I did the dick wait. I was like, 10 seconds. You're going to wait? You're going to try to steal my shit? I waited, and then I did the trade because I still needed the item. Ignored the guy. Like, you got to find the snakes, right? But people are looking for that currency, looking for that quick hit. And so, landmines, yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. You want to send us off, or is there anything else you want to mention?
I think that was my last two things, because there's been a tremendous amount of quality of life that they brought to this league, and it's phenomenal. Like we said earlier, man, we can only applaud you, GGG, because you guys do phenomenal work. You're on top of your game. When shit's wrong, it doesn't matter if it's the middle of the night for you guys or the weekend. There's somebody on it, and it's getting fixed fairly fast. So honestly, like, that's a company that I would love to work for and would like to support them and play their game. But
gotcha.
Unless you got anything else, with that being said, I think Keepers of the Flame is a big W. 2 thumbs up from me, and I'm going to be playing the shit out of it as soon as I end this recording. So
yeah, same. Yep.
You all have a wonderful rest of your day, and that is another episode of Echoes in Exile. Bye.
See you.